So Leo's gonna hang out here. This is an update on, I think it would be my one, two, three, first 3 weeks, almost a month in the country. Our specific situation is that we are currently living in an RV that we're borrowing. It thankfully has AC, so we live in an area where it's very humid. I used to live in a very dry area for the majority of my life, then moved to San Diego, where it is a bit humid. I loved living there. The weather perfect every day. Even when people complained, I was like, "Are you really complaining?" Um, Shocker. Some people, like I guess a lot of people, did not have AC in their houses. But I think that mostly changed in outside the coastal area, like El Cajon. Like people needed to have ACs there. I hope they did. I hope they do have ACs there because it gets hot in there. Um, Anyway, so moving here, there's like 60% humidity today and tomorrow and greater. So it definitely it feels like it feels like the air is hot and soft. I do appreciate the softness, but I miss a harsh, cool, refreshing breeze that I used to get in California, like in the evening. That does not really happen here. You can kind of feel it early morning, which is great. And that's why I've been having a bit more motivation to wake up earlier. Um, but yeah, so that's the weather. And also, um, there, okay, so apparently it's not like a normal thing that's going on. I don't know if it's like related to climate change, but um, it's been raining quite a lot. I was told that the weather can change really rapidly, which is not something I'm used to, especially because it involves actual heavy rain, not California rain, um, and thunder, a lot of thunder. So with the thunder comes the kids being afraid. So my kids are my dogs, um, and they get shaky because they're scared, or they go into a corner and they all cuddle. Yesterday I discovered that I think because most of the evening, you okay, baby? Most of the evening it was there was thunder. One of them did not want to go outside in their kennel to poop, so they pooped inside the shed, which is not ideal. But anyway, that's how scared they get. Hopefully they get used to it soon because that's just gonna be the weather around here. And then it is good that the water actually drains quite fast. Of course, they have like their own systems in the roads, but just like the soil itself absorbs a lot of water really fast. So that's pretty good. We don't have to deal with a ton of flooding, especially because we got lucky with the property. The property doesn't tend to flood. On that note, I passed by. We kept passing by what looked like a river, and I was like, "Oh my god, that river is like really full." And then Nando kept saying, "Like, can you believe that? Like, we're really lucky now." And I was like, "I guess we're really lucky that we don't live next to a river or a stream that can get flooded and get overfilled." But then it clicked that he meant that a property was flooded. Like it literally looks like a river. Like on that part because it's quite long. But it, like like a lot of the trees are like the water goes up to where their canopy starts. I was shocked. Um. Anyway, that's why we got lucky with the property. Because there's not really much flooding. There's like some little lagoons, not lagoons, like ponds. Ponds, puddles, more like puddles. Yes. Sorry. But yeah, that's all we pretty much get. It hasn't gotten to the point where there's water going down the RV because it can get so saturated that it just starts flowing under the RV. So that's great. Another thing is, of course, going from San Diego to here, it is like glamping. So there's a lot of dirt all the time. I actually like prefer to keep everything pretty hygienic. And it's kind of hard to do it here because there's flies around inevitably because there are cows and we're in nature. Um, and there are other bugs. Um, and it, as I mentioned, it rains suddenly, so we suddenly have to deal with mud. And then because the outside, like, we don't have like a concrete thing, like a concrete slab on the floor, so we go directly from the dirt. We go from mud to dirt that's dry, so it creates like a thicker piece of dirt on our shoes, and then we have to go into the RV. So like, we can change our shoes, and we have been, but we can't avoid all of the dirt coming in. So like, this is how it's looking like, and that's just from yesterday. And I know it's just a very small space, so I think that also has to do. But yeah. Anyway, I knew it wasn't gonna be like that much of a difference of like living here, because I was used to living like kind of an bit of a rural area um before San Diego. Though we did have neighbors like to every side, and like we lived in a small neighborhood. Um, so we only have one neighbor here, um, like someone who lives in their house. Um, and then to the other sides, we don't have any neighbors. Um, so it's not that much different, but there are still many differences, especially coming from San Diego, where we lived in the suburb. Like, we used to live close to downtown, and then after a while in the more suburb area, which I preferred. Um, anyway, like, random sounds that I gotta get used to. Um, not entirely random, but just sounds that I'm not used to, like, compared to the suburb, like where I knew where every sound came from. Um, eventually, because coming from like our slightly rural area, it was very quiet. I knew all the sounds. But then going to like more downtowny area, like, so much noise, I actually had a hard time adjusting to that. And then like just sounds I didn't know where they were coming from, and then police, and just random people passing by in front of the house. Then suburb, like, less noise, but still, like, we lived in an apartment complex, so still, like, other people making noise, kids, like, that was nice. Like, I enjoyed, like, hearing the kids, like, playing and such. But it was still, like, something to get used to. Or just other sounds I didn't know where they were coming from. And actually the fridge really bugged me, because there was so much less noise. Oh, I'm seeing some swirls. They look so cute, and now my dog saw them. I think they're starting to work. But anyway, the fridge made a lot of noise. Like, I think because it was old. So, well, I eventually tuned it out, but it was hard, because I'm like, oh my god, there's so much noise. Um, but anyway, now coming here, of course, I can't hear any of the cars and such, which is refreshing. But there's still noise. Actually, it's quite lively, because there are cows here, and we have the kids who freely bark now, whenever they want. It's not like, oh, keep it down because of the neighbors. And then there's a lot of birds. There are squirrels. Especially at night, it gets so noisy. I have to figure out what kinds of animals live around here, just because I want to know. We have some local birds. I think they're cardinals. I think that's how you pronounce the name. One of them likes to look itself in the mirror, which is funny, like in the car mirrors, and so cute. Anyway, so we have to drive long distances for anything at all. Thankfully, we have like two gas stations in the same corner, like maybe 10 minutes driving from here. Um, and then the nearest town is like 30 minutes, which is a pretty good established town. I think we're lucky because we're not like in the middle of nothing at all. And the town that we do have kind of near is a college town, so it has a lot of stuff. Um, and prices, yeah, we've noticed the prices are much lower than in San Diego, but also in California, especially like the food when going out to eat. Um, it can depend though. Like, well, okay, I think that was a mistake. Like, we went to kind of a drive-through taco place, like where people, well, not drive-through, like, how would you call it? Like, where you sit in your car, kind of like Sonic, and they bring the order to you. But it was a taco place. And they actually were charging kind of hefty, which was not great, because it wasn't like, we didn't really like the food, to be honest. But anyway, everything else is slightly cheaper, which is great. What else? Oh, the bags. They just like, they don't completely fill the bag when it, like, got buying stuff at stores. And of course, like, they don't really ask you if you want a bag. They just kind of give it to you, or if they, of course, they don't charge you. but the bags are also very, 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 very flimsy, which is very annoying because I'm like, well, now literally this is a one-time use. That like really annoys me because it's like, well, it's already broke. It's a new thing and it already broke. Um, and then, oh my God, another shock was like when we went to Walmart, it started pouring. Actually, it was raining, but it started pouring and there was thunder and everyone was still just shopping as normal. And I was like, oh my God, I think if this happened in California, everyone would be like shocked and like there would be like a couple accidents nearby and people would just not want to keep shopping. Um, so yeah, that was really interesting. Along with that, on the weather again, some people mention microclimates in San Diego because like in one part could be like really nice, perfect, and then it could be really windy, just a few minutes away driving. Over here, oh my God, rainy and with thunder in a few minutes. So it's like amped up. Other than that, I have not been able to explore like the nearest like big city yet. There's still gonna be plenty of time for that, but I think those are pretty much the highlights. Apart from like always having a lot of stuff to do, as I mentioned before, but also feeling overwhelmed because there's a lot of stuff to do, and then also I'm like I don't want to do anything. And also like because the situation like where we're living like the RV is temporary, and we haven't really made up our mind on like what we're gonna do. Um, like what is our like actual goal? Like what type of home are we trying to build or buy or whatever, um, house. Um, it doesn't feel like I can do much because then I'm like, oh well, is it gonna be undone soon? Like that's gonna be annoying, And it's also different when you have your own stuff. Like you can do whatever to it. Um, so that feels like the instability is very frustrating so far. But I'm really glad that we have like a very secure place right now, especially finishing up the biggest things in the kids shed, so they can't escape anymore. We can leave the house safely. Um, and they're comfortable in their shed because they have AC, they have their food set up, they have the water set up. We ended up finding like like our own little systems of like, oh, well, this is when we get the water, this is where we get it from, because we've had that issue of not having drinking water readily available. Um, and so we already found that for them, thankfully, and we still need to finish up stuff in there, but they have a solid place. We have a solid thing going on with them. Another thing, and I guess this might be part two. So I could be spending time in the RV with the AC or literally like take a hike, like a actual little, well, small hike down there in the property, and I could be near a pond and a little stream. It's so dreamy, it's so cute, and I really, really love it. Um, Side note, they're like this. I would never have encountered or been in this situation if I weren't living here. So I had heard that some deer came by, some baby deer with their families and such, like just to lay on the grass in this property. And I was like, oh man, like I wish I could see them. But honestly, like, like they know when people are around, they don't want to be around. But unfortunately, my dream came true at the not a very great time because at the time I was trusting the big kids, the big ones, to just walk around without a leash or anything outside in the property, outside their kennel. But in that moment, Hachi and Pantera saw a baby deer and they went after the baby deer. I was like terrified because I'm like, don't kill him. Like, because, they're trying to protect their property or whatever. Their property. Well, I guess, yeah, their space. But I'm like, the deer's not doing anything. Anyway, I like was sprinting behind Hachi and Pantera, yelling at them, trying to make them stop running after the deer. And I grabbed the broom because I'm like, I don't know if like I can get near enough and just like scare Hachi and Pantera away from the deer with the broom. Anyway, I was running after them, holding a broom like at the fastest speed that I could, and yelling at them like crazy. Like literally, you could hear me. I don't know how far, but I don't even know if people could hear me because how far they are anyway. And yeah, I think it was like a quite scary moment, but also kind of funny once you think about how it actually looked like. Um, but yeah, I'm glad that deer got away because obviously they're more agile than Hachi and Pantera. But yeah, they did end up escaping the property because there's only barbed wire still. And Bandera did get cut on his back, pretty long cut, which I'm treating. But yeah, that is like, oh my god. And sometimes they lick cow poop. They just pass by and they just lick it, and I'm like, oh my god, that's disgusting. And I'm gonna put them on medication for like different types of worms, but I'm like, that's disgusting. Um, anyway, yeah. Oh, another thing is like me getting the mail on the ATV because the mail is quite far. It's not even outside the property, like right outside, which would still be kind of far, and I would still use the ATV for. But it is actually like at the entrance of the road, so that's actually kind of funny and not the most convenient, of course, but it's fine. And another thing, there are how do you call them? There are scorpions in here, so we have to check our shoes when we go outside and leave them there every time. So that's something to get used to. And we've been showering outside in the free. We do have a security, like privacy little camping shower, but since we don't have any neighbors, and well, on most sides, and on the side that we have a little building that covers us. But it's just like we don't actually have a specific area to take a shower in, like a building. So we've been showering outside with the hose, and we're like, we already know we have to shower at the end of the day so we can have some warm water from the whole day, of the water like being warmed up. But it needs to be kind of right before sunset so that we still have some light, but we're not at risk of getting mosquitoes, because they do kind of attack us. They're not that many. Yes, thank goodness, but way more than I'm used to. And so yeah, it actually feels liberating taking a shower outside. It's just annoying because you have to keep holding the hose. So we do have a stove. So about cooking, we do have a stove in the RV, but there's something going on with it, so we have to figure out if we can set it up correctly. Um, there was an electric stovetop thingy that I was allowed to borrow. You're so cutie puppy, but it doesn't work. There is the option to like cook with like on a fire pit. Um, but I also have my air fryer. So, and I'm okay with just the air fryer. I believe I can do most things that I usually cook. So, but and I haven't had to cook at all because we've had leftovers from stuff. And also I'm not in a rush to cook much of the things, like anything at all, except for the fruit, eat it, the fresh fruit, because most of the things that I bought are frozen, which I did on purpose because I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And at the time I didn't have my air fryer yet. So yeah, that's about the cooking part. Um, the bathroom doesn't really work inside here, but we do have a makeshift bathroom situation. It's pretty hygienic actually, so I'm thankful for that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the whole thing. I'm still working online, which I'm very thankful for. Did not expect to have much work during the summer, but I've had some, which is helpful. It keeps me sane and keeps some money coming in. And yeah, that's pretty much it as the as the update. And if y'all have any questions at all, about anything that I didn't address or you guys are curious about, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll see if I can answer it on the next video.